Good afternoon, everyone. This is RAND, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, September 4, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call tonight at a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. There's a whole lot going on the financial front, unbeknownst to the people. We're going to cover a lot of ins and outs, clean up the garbage that's being slung out there. We have, it's a pretty clear course for this civilization. It isn't murky or anything as far as the direction, the choice of the direction of the civilization. And it all comes to a decision that each of us make. It's a choice. It isn't through the ego mind, it's through the heart mind. And the choice is that we have watched for eons the process of this whole ball of wax, let's say, the progression of the species, where the species is at, the civilization, all of the lifetimes we've had, which right now we don't remember much at all of that, on the material physical plane. So we pretty much know, all of us, even the sleepers, what material physical is, how it appears to us, what the enticements are. And it's one big adventure after an adventure. Some of it's good, obviously, and some of it's not so good. But it's all looked upon as an experience. Since everything's temporary, and we create all these illusions so that we can experience them. So now it's turning by choice with some of us that now we're going to go into the now and discover the gods that we are, the pure consciousness in the body. And I believe that because of the photon energy field, and again, who created that? The collective consciousness created it, which means all of us and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And so what is that doing? Well, along with the planet and the God within this planet, there's a huge surge of high frequency, love-like energy, however you want to describe it. Photon field energy, cosmic energy, which we're all made of, the gods that we are in these bodies. So you can see the cohesiveness and the deep connection that we are with all that there is. So across the field of existence, the collective consciousness is the one transforming the planet. Not people talk about a galactic wave and a flash of light and that type of thing. And we're the galactic wave, we're the flash of light. But we're not a flash, we're a constant, emitting frequencies that are like a teeter-totter up and down, all around, depending on our emotionality that these bodies are. And that's what takes us away from the God that we are, the emotionality of these bodies. Very compelling, very strong. And it pulls us into the material physical world on an ongoing basis. Most of us don't know that. We don't identify that, yeah, sure, I know I'm in material physical world, but what about the God that you are? What's that about? Why, don't you comprehend the fact that you're not that body, that body is a vessel that allows you to experience material physical world? And as we know, when you're not in the body, you're not. It's not a physical thing, where you can go up and touch somebody or hug somebody. In these bodies we can, but when we're out of these bodies, we don't do any of that. See, and you've heard me share this before: is that we don't cry, we don't get upset or angry, or we're not vindictive or greedy, manipulative, deceptive. None of that stuff. That's all the body. Well, one might ask, well, then how does that happen? Because when we come into the baby body, it's an open vessel. It hasn't been programmed. It's just pure light energy. That's why when you look at a baby and it seems to glow, that's not your imagination. That's a fact. They glow because there's not been any programming put into them. They haven't developed character or personality yet. The body hasn't. But what's the root of it? Everybody superficializes it, but what is the actual root of it? The root of it is the information that's being programmed into the baby, into adulthood, and all through adulthood. That's the root. And that's why we are, right now, in this very now moment, why we are the way we are. It's because it all boils down to the root of the information that we take in. That's it. Now, when you step outside of that and you watch that as an observer, and you see the baby body being programmed, and you see the information coming into the baby body, it's like this big sponge. And so it forms our character and personality depending on information that particular baby body is taking in. Could be parents, mother, father, brother, sister, cousins, strangers, whatever. Our everyday interaction with each other. But it's continuum. And we don't know that. But more and more of us are starting to identify and recognize that. And we've decided to go into spiritual evolution. What the heck is spiritual evolution? It means that we finally discover who and what we are in these bodies. And we really do, not superficially, but we really do, deep within, we begin to comprehend that we are not the body, we are the God. And the purpose of the body, see, we begin to unravel that. What's the purpose of the body? Carry us around. So that we can experience touch, feel, emotions, and all those things. All of us having life experience. Now, does that mean that we all are like printouts of the same experiences? No, because you'll notice that you experience something for you, right? Whatever it may be. And for you, it has different meaning. Now, someone else experiences something, the same thing, it's different meaning. It's not identical. Then we wouldn't learn. So it always has to be variable. So one of us has a certain life experience, another one has a similar life experience, but it's very different for them. Some people, things don't affect them like others. They just seem indifferent. It's like it's no big deal. And they could be talking with someone, and that someone says, "Well, it is a big deal. How come you're not upset about it? This is a big deal. You got to take life seriously. This is serious stuff." And so the other being will say, "To me, it doesn't seem important at all. I'm not affected really by it." They're not just saying that superficially, because underneath, that's how they feel. You could be communicating with somebody, and you're watching, right? They're outside. They look kind of irritable, right? They're not smiling, and they seem kind of irritated for some reason, or in a bad mood. But underneath, they're as happy as a lark. It's just, you just never know. They're genuinely as happy as a lark. And all of us at times, little bit, will bubble up, and we feel this deep connection. And we're making some form of connection to the God. When that happens, you breathe that feeling deeply into your body. You stop everything. I don't care what it is, what you're doing. And give this experience all that you've got. And because of our positioning currently with ourselves, it might not last long. You ever been doing something or you see something? Might be a billboard, might be a book cover. It could be anything. And it rings to you. You notice it a lot more than just passing by. For some reason, it's kind of like a message been given to you, and you've received it, and you some people will go, yeah, no big deal. Others will go, what the heck is this? What is that telling me? What is that messaging me? You could be walking through like a bookstore, and you're not looking for anything specific, maybe killing time, waiting for somebody. So you decide to go down one of the aisles, and you're walking along, you're just kind of glancing at the titles and everything. And then all of a sudden, out of the clear blue, you don't have to be an avid reader either. There's a title on a book, on the binding, that you go, what is that? And you pull it out, and you look at the cover, and you read a little bit, and something kind of jumps out at you. And it registers. Now, maybe you'll put the book back on the shelf, blow it off, or you might just say, I'm going to get this book. Every single thing, the point is, every single thing that we interface with is a message. Now, a lot of us just ignore all of it, blow it off, and it's insignificant. Oh, well, the word coincidence and that type of thing. Others embrace it. What's this telling me? I've had people that were totally asleep that because of that woke up, like a big floodlight came on in their heads. And then they just wanted to read everything and know everything and just assimilate everything they could because they'd woken up. So that's why these messages are all around us that the universe keeps sending in, specifically designed for you. May not be designed for Bob or Mary, but it's designed for you. And then Bob and Mary get messages as well. We're all getting messages on a continual basis. It's coming in constantly. But most of us really aren't paying attention to our surroundings. We're paying attention to what? Well, today in this now, we're paying attention to the view screens on the phones, the technologies, which are archaic, and it's neither here nor there, the technologies that we currently use. We become desensitized to our surroundings because of this. Now, I'm not saying technologies are bad, because in a lot of ways they serve a good purpose for us. But when they dictate to you and take your time rather than you mastering your time and say, okay, I'm done with that. I'm not going to spend any more time with that. And I've been on this spiritual path for me, myself, I would say 64 years. My spiritual path started when I was 6, which makes me 70. Am I all the way there? Heck no. But I'm aware to many different things. Have I mastered my ego mind? Heck no. None of us have. We've gotten to certain areas that we're aware that the ego mind has been running us for a very long time. And then we discover what the purpose is of it. This all is finitely connected. We're not... A lot of people feel scattered and they feel like they're off path or off track. But they're not, see. It's specifically for them that these things happen, and they create them without having a conscious awareness that they have created them. Conscious awareness is a major comprehension for all of us. Now, can someone be consciously asleep? Can someone be conscious, but be consciously asleep that they are conscious? Absolutely. So how many of us, just in this country, are not consciously aware that we're conscious? Oh, I would say well over 70%. Why is that? Again, the root that has engineered all this is the programming. If you take, let's say that you take a generation, right? And the generation's all children, babies, and then small children. And the parents of the babies, their parents, taught them the best they could from what they were taught, right? And most of all the things that were taught are very similar. They're not exact. There's a couple of offshoots here and there, but pretty much, basically, very similar. So that information goes into that generation. And remember, they're all sponges. So they get programmed with that. Yes, they have different character and personalities that form with each of us through this programming. But the programming is all wrong. It's just completely off base. Is it the parents' fault? No, it isn't. It's not. It really is. It kind of gets a little befuddling because generation after generation is influenced. Let's say you were going to populate a planet, right? And you knew you had to program the civilization. Now, if you were nefarious, you would program them a certain way. But if you were deep eternal love, you would program them a completely different way. Because you would want them to know who and what they are. Wouldn't you? Since you know who and what you are. But if you have nefarious influences that aren't detectable, and that generation is programmed in that direction, what happens? They don't know who and what they are. They have been programmed with lies, with the deceits. And so how did they experience their lives? What do they manifest? You could look at the planet as a watcher and say, okay, why is it so repetitive for this civilization? Why do we keep repeating things? right? Because we do. Look throughout the past. We repeat things. Now, it doesn't mean that everything's exactly the same, obviously not, but the core of it is the same. So, we enter conflicts because of our programming and what we've been taught to believe. Even if the conflicts have been engineered for other purposes, and once we believe something, we create it. It's a very powerful scope that when you watch from the outside and you begin to unravel what actually has been happening. If you get a computer and it's not programmed, it doesn't have any programs, right? It doesn't have an operating system. It's useless. It's just circuits and plastics and other things. You can't use it for really anything. Maybe for a centerpiece. But when you put in an operating system and you put in information, then you use it, right? It's the same with these bodies. They're programmed, and when we come into them, here's the illusion of the separation. We don't know who and what we are. And so we're looking at our hands and as little babies, and we discover we have feet because we're not walking on anything because we're usually having to be carried around because our bodies haven't developed enough for us to walk. So imagine that. We come in these baby bodies and we don't know who and what we are. That's wild, isn't it? Picture yourself as a baby and you're in the maternity ward and you don't know who and what you are. You just know that you're in that body. Now, once in a while, some of us will be in the body and go, I can't believe I'm in another body. That's what we'll say to ourselves. We don't have a full scope of remembering. There's just residual memories when we wake up in that baby body. But this is all connected. It's our comprehension of who and what we are. That's the key to our expansiveness as a civilization. It isn't any of the other stuff. It isn't the material physical. It isn't anything about that. And then we begin to recognize that, well, I'm creating this to entertain myself. And you are. It's purely meant for entertainment purposes only. As these disclaimers you've read. But it's true. You are the master and commander of your life, of your future, and of your destiny. It's all you. Your destiny, unbeknownst to popular belief, is not etched in stone. I've said this before. Your destiny is what you decide it to be. How many times throughout the ages that people have been taught, no, you can't change your destiny. It's already been written for you. That's crap. It really is. See, so you understand that we are all independent but one. So it's like cells in the body, okay? We have over 2.5 trillion cells in these bodies. But when you look at a cell, it appears to be separate, flowing through the blood and the different tissues. You say, well, that cell is singular. It's by itself. And then you look at all the other cells. But they make up one. See what I mean? They make up the one, which is the body. And then we take it further than that. What is that? We make up all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And all the knowledge and all the experiences and all that there is, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever is what we are. And the only difference between us and some other species is that we don't have memory. We don't. It's been removed. So we start over from scratch every single time. And the reason that happens over and over again is because we don't know who and what we are. We don't spend enough time while we're in these bodies discovering that. Pretty interesting, isn't it? So we're distracted by the material physical. That's what we are. We're distracted by it. So what does that do? It keeps us from knowing we are a God in the body. That's what it does. That's what it keeps us from doing. It keeps us from knowing that we are a God in the body. Works pretty good, doesn't it? Any of us exempt from it? No, not yet. But even talking about it in these guided meditations call means that we're halfway there. You can talk about it. Means that you're halfway there. How many people do you believe right now on this planet are talking about it? Genuinely. Not to impress and, all that other ego-minded stuff, but genuinely discussing it. We don't have enough time to discover in this one lifetime in these bodies because our life cycle has been shrunk so much and we have been inundated artificially with so many things to deter our ability to find out who and what we are in these bodies. See? Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And in this quiet time of this meditation, when you've relaxed into the body, you're focused on the breath rising and falling, you're as still as a statue in a comfortable position, whatever is done can be undone. There are no limitations whatsoever, only those that we have been taught. And those are an illusion. We have no limitations. Zero. But if you are programmed to believe that you have all these limitations in this life, you will have those limitations. That's how powerful of the beings we are in these bodies. Joining in the meditation, I'll return to close this out.
Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain focused on relaxing into the body in a comfortable position, in a still position. Focus on the breath rising and falling. You are always guided. It's natural to trust in this ever-present, loving, universal loving intelligence that is always guiding you, always helping you to find what you want in this life. Each moment, it is assisting you to see the way home for yourself and to yourself. Once you start listening to it, you'll see how easy life becomes to manifest everything that you're dreaming of. When you stop to truly listen to what that gentle, calling, calming, sweet, expansive energy is telling you, you know what to do with your life. In a few minutes of deep, intentional listening, you can feel truly fearless, unstoppable, and know that you are now living your life purpose. Every breath you take in is another divine opportunity to tune in to your inner guide. The path is already paved smoothly for you. Simply trust the future. Open up to the highest vibration of that you know, and relax into receiving this wonderful and radical love. Who knew that listening could be so cool? Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, the following morning. We will return here tonight, TFCC call, Wednesday, September 4th, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. And Thursday, September 5, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on out there or in here. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.